we're back. This is the Chad and Cheese Podcast. Joel Cheeseman, Chad Sowash, back here with Tim Sackett, CEO of HRUtech.com.
We're seeing platforms literally just pivot. I mean, platforms have been around for a while that have a nice sized portfolio. And we haven't seen this before. We've seen a lot of legacy systems literally just die. Taleo.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, big player, and the atrophy happens. Right. That's what we're used to. We're used to that happening. Now we're seeing companies literally pivots, and we have not seen those big of pivots before. Is that going to be like a big part of the book? Understanding why the pivot happens.
Yeah. We all look at we take a look at monster career builder stories, which are the classic in our own space.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's every function, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you could take a look at Waymo and Tesla and go, what's Ford doing? Like, are they going to be around? Will they be around 25 years from now? Who knows? Like, you thought, well, they've been around for hundreds of years. They're going to.
Yeah.
We already know that there's companies that are going to go away.
Yeah.
We see the big three in HCM with SAP, Oracle, Workday. And there's a couple of those that are like, hey, we have our moat built. We're fine. We're going to be great forever. And you're like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because ServiceNow and Salesforce, or people are going, hey, wait a minute. We think we have better AI that is going to hook together. We're more open platform, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think there's some real danger for some of those.
The people they sell to are higher powered people, the CROs, the CFOs, I mean, the CMOs in some cases. So, yeah.
And there's also just computing power that only those big companies can deal with. So even if it's not a job board, right? It's not everyone can do this with a WordPress plugin. Like, these are serious technologies.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, does this get consolidated? Do people go away? Will there be the next big players? I mean, we have unicorns in our space like Deal, Rippling, et cetera. Will it be a mix of all those? How do you see sort of the vendor space shaking out in, say, 5 to 7 years?
I do think, we always see that because one thing we know is, like, if somebody's doing something that works, other people are going to do it. Like the classic one is Paradox in our space. Like, over the last 5-8 years has like blown up.
Yeah.
And like when I talk to TA leaders that buy it, it's the one, like the positive thing, they're like, they actually said it would do this and it actually did this.
Yeah.
And like that becomes that's the whole marketing pitch.
Well,
like we actually are going to do what we said we were going to do.
Yes.
Because the vast majority of the tech in our space does not do that.
It's vaporware. It's vaporware.
Well, I don't even know if it's vapor or it's a constant oversell, underdeliver
It's
model.
a lot of salespeople promising,
which is,
and technology people going, no, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, and you're like, we're 18 months in and we're still implementing? Like, what? No.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this.
Yeah. So, in the book, or just like in normal conversation, is that something that you're hitting a lot on? Because you're right. We're seeing vendors who literally are doing pretty damn well, right? You said Paradox and obviously some of the others. Would that be like a part of it? And do we really need like a mechanism in which to be able to have like due diligence happening in the public sphere? I mean, would that be something that, you could actually do on like Talent Fix along with, the SHRM connections, those types of things?
Who knows, right? Like, I think there's a lot of people, it becomes kind of the marketplace. I know, like, Career Crossroads has some of that stuff behind the paywall, where like you get kind of this Yelpification of like, what really works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
And like, we don't see it. Part of it is, I think it's just difficult to maintain those profiles and things like that. Like Madeline Rano at Aptitude is a friend of mine, and we've talked about, should we build this? And we're like, and then you start really thinking about it. You're like, the moment it's built,
deep.
It's old.
Oh yeah, it's
and
deep.
It's hard to keep up, and it's hard. And then how do you democratize like where like somebody can have a profile because you want to conclude everybody?
Yeah.
I think it's really tough. Like the one thing I'm not getting now with the AI is like all the vendors are doing their stuff and they show you the demos and we see the stuff.
Yeah.
And we see the use cases. You're like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. If it does what it says it's going to do.
Yeah.
What we don't have any practitioners in our space going, hey, by the way, I flipped the switch on this one over here, and this is actually what it did.
Uh-huh.
And then this is how it changed, how our process was. And this is like, then here's what my person did, right?
Yeah.
And here's now what a recruiter's job is.
Yeah.
And like, no one's sharing that stuff. And you're like, why? Is it because the AI stuff isn't ready for real time?
Well, you talk about a disconnect.
Do they think it's some kind of secret sauce, right?
You've talked before that like a solution will build something because their customers asked for it versus we think it's cool. And so I think you just sort of set the table for that. Why is there such a disconnect between vendors building what they think the consumer wants and really what the consumer wants? or needs?
Yeah, being somebody who is a TA practitioner, what I can say is like, we believe that the buyer is way more sophisticated in what they are around the technology and all that
Yes.
stuff.
And we give them too many options.
And they're not like us, which are nerds in the space and go and take a look at hundreds of products and know the stuff.
Yeah.
They're heads down with their ass on fire trying to do the job.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden someone goes, hey, you need AI. And they'll get sold something that promise that doesn't work, whatever. They don't know how to do it. Who knows? And then it just gets lost. And so it's simply that we have a community of marketing people that believe that their buyers really well informed and smart.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get in the product side, that's really what you're talking about is like, oh, we listen to our customers. Like, stop listening to your customers. Like, most of them have no idea what they actually want or need, but you might be able to deliver something that changes their life because you thought about it differently.
Right.
And they're like, oh, well, if we could change this title of this column to this, and you're like, okay, here's our new feature. Like, what? Like, no, stop this.
Yeah. Well, and do you see like the agentic side of the house actually kind of like helping their quote unquote bespoke process? Because everybody has a different process, even though they probably shouldn't. I mean, I get it from high volume to the C-suite. Totally get that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like you can still make them feel special with their agent that does what they need them to do, but it's a standardized agent. I mean, do you think that kind of like helps with adoption and them feeling like they're, special? Because that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. It's the superpower we have as in recruiting, right? Is that we have this ability to make anyone feel special, feel wanted, feel needed.
Yeah.
Until
they go in a black hole.
And yet somehow, somehow we screw it up.
Yes.
When we have the one psychological thing everybody in the world wants, and we screw it up. And so, like, if you're 100 people apply to a job in most companies, 3 to 5% of those people are going to get into the process. So to me, the hope of agentic and AI in general is that I can now have 100% of the people be a part of the process. Talk about inclusion. Like, we're going to see inclusion at a process we've never seen, because now you have 100% in. Now, does that cause downstream problems? Imagine in the 3 to 5% that we screw around with now and don't give them feedback.
Yeah.
Now you have 100% in,
and
they're not getting feedback. So then, okay, well, wait a minute, we'll just layer more AI. That'll give the feedback, and legal teams are screaming, going, "No, don't listen to Sackett on the pod. Like, that's terrible advice."
One of the things historically that I've found interesting is the aversion to buying something that may put you out of a job. And I feel like that's a trend that happens pretty frequently. And you mentioned, hey, it's AI, we have to buy it. And then it's Copilot, we have to buy it. And now it's agentic and we have to buy it. Do we risk moving too fast, scaring the buyer too much? Because I do think there is an aversion to buying something that may take your job away from you.
Joe, I think like there's confusion. And it keeps getting worse, like from the buyer side. One is they just don't really understand the different kinds of AI that are out there and what the risk is for certain ones, right? And what the risk isn't for other ones. And so they just kind of panic and go, no, all AI is risky. And you're like, well, not really, like not anymore. Like, but are there some? For sure, right? And so you're like, where is that level of what you want to do? So I do think it's interesting, like that there just isn't that education yet around kind of what that is and what it could be.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. That has been the Chad and Cheese Podcast. Joel Cheeseman, Chad Sowash. This has been the Sessions AI Frontline Series.